ask you about flying. So you've started flying yourself. Tell me about when you got your pilot's license. What went into that, and what do you like about it?
So I got my pilot's license initially in early 2023. I loved airplanes when I was a kid. We had two pets growing up. I named them Airplane and Propeller when I was like 3 years old. I just loved airplanes, and then kind of got obsessed with ice hockey and golf, and those became my two loves. And kind of forgot about airplanes for 20 years of my life. And then I was paired with George McNealy in the, I think, second or third round of the 3M Open in 2022. And he's one of the coolest players to ever play the PGA Tour. Flew himself to tournaments for 20 years. And, I call him Uncle George because our last names are close enough.
Yeah.
But I kind of started peppering with questions about flying, and it sounded really, really cool, like something I'd love. I took my first, so I did my entire online course for the Cirrus aircraft so I could take my first discovery flight when I got home, and immediately loved it. It was, a lot like golf in that you mentally prepare, there's routines, but more than anything, it was something I was completely focused on. I had no room for anything else in my mind. And I finally ended up buying my first single-engine prop plane, this little Cirrus SR-22, in the fall. Flew it home from Omaha with an instructor. It took 9.5 hours to get from Omaha back to Vegas. We had
Well, is that just because the plane is slow, or you had to go around, or?
We had to go around. We had a headwind, and the plane's cruises just under 200 miles an hour, and it's got about a 800-mile range. But at that point, the limiting factor is your bladder. But more than anything, it's just fun to go around the southeast, and I was able to fly Phoenix to San Diego in just over 2 hours. Can't really carry a ton of baggage. It's not really a solution to fly to all tournaments, but maybe at some point down the road, win a signature event or two and can upgrade to that Vision Jet. That's like my dream plane, and I want to take my commercial rating at some point this fall when I've got enough hours. But it's something that mentally engages and challenges me a ton. That's not golf, and I just absolutely love it. I've got the bug, and when I proposed to Maya, I rented a plane and flew us up to Tahoe and proposed to her there, and she thought I was taking all these pictures because it was the first time she was in the plane alone with me. But it was a special day, so I absolutely love it, and hopefully, I guess people say, well, I would never get in a plane with you. That's not safe. It's like, well, I'm maybe not as experienced of a pilot, but I never fly outside my limitations, and I know my limitations. Limitations are good weather. When I've been flying a lot recently, and if not, I take an instructor and make it a fun and educational trip with minimal stress, which is what I did going to Torrey. So, it's a lot of fun.
Last question. You got the Team USA over your right shoulder. You're in a really good position. It's a Ryder Cup year. How important is it to be at Bethpage, and is it something that you're trying? I know what you're going to say, because you're going to say the process is more important, and you let the results take care of themselves. Is that, can you really have that mindset with something that a goal that big on the horizon?
Definitely. It's very, very motivating. My goal isn't to be at Bethpage. My goal is to win points at Bethpage. And
hey, love that.
I don't want to show up and put up a donut. So if I'm the right guy for the job, I will be so excited to be there. I just want to be a problem for those guys. I just want to annoy people with my putter. That's my MO. And when I'm playing good, I'm always in every hole because I feel like I can make any putt. And it's hugely motivating for me. I'm going to work extremely hard this year. And if I'm the right guy for the job, I'll be there. And I'm going to try and make life miserable for those guys.
I was following you at the Genesis as you were making your run, and there were quite a few people who were chanting "Daddy's money" at you, which was gross. I thought it was disgusting. And obviously, the story about you and your dad is like super well told. We don't need to get into that. Also, you can't blame a guy for like where he's born. Like that's not something that you chose. Anyway, anyone with a brain, I think, realizes how moronic that chant is. My question for you is, did it still get to you, or are you able to now, because you've probably been dealing with it for a while, were you able to just kind of put it aside?
It's nothing new. I was called, rich kid in third grade, and I was like, really? What does that mean? Like, it's how do I put this? My My parents told us growing up that we had a lot of opportunities and we had wonderful, wonderful opportunities given to us. But um, my parents said that you're going to have to be nicer, treat people better, work harder, and all of that, because there will be some people that want to play that card and say that you are where you are because of um, the opportunities you were given in your background growing up, which I'm unbelievably grateful for. I had every opportunity in the world, but that's also part of the reason I gravitated towards professional golf, because the golf
Right,
course
like you chose a
very
career. I
fun.
got to jump in here and just tell people how
Yeah.
stupid they are for changing. You chose like the ultimate meritocratic career. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
if you've got a famous last name, you might get a couple like invites. That's not how you
Mhm.
got your tour card. That's not what
Yeah.
like that's not what happened. You didn't skip any steps.
No, it didn't bother me, because I think I like to think if you take the time to get to know me, that's not me. And a couple people that have a couple alcoholic beverages like to, you know, make a rise and say something funny for their friends. But I think the thing that was a little disappointing was the fact that it was said in a way that was trying to detract from one of the coolest things I've done in my career, which had absolutely nothing to do with my background, which was be 9 under through 13 at Torrey, and out of nowhere have a chance to win that golf tournament, which was one of the most fun, days for me and special for me and Scout. And just really a lesson in that no expectations type of golf. Um, it's nothing new. It's probably not going to go away either, and I'm sure it's going to become a bigger thing as I play better and play better golf. But I also think that a lot of the things that you read on the internet are just completely false and not true. And I, you know, I posted that video on Instagram, flying myself to my first tournament, and people are like, "Wow, must be nice to have a dad." But I actually paid for that airplane myself. I paid for like my house, everything I've done in my life was stuff that I've earned through my professional golf career. And I guess the best way to explain this is the way our family works is I stayed amateur between the end of my senior year all the way through Q school in 2017, because I had the coolest amateur summer of all time. I played the Palmer Cup, played the Walker Cup, played the U.S. Open and the Open Championship as an amateur. I played John Deere Classic on a sponsor invite. I played a Barracuda on a sponsor invite. I played the Transmiss at Olympic Club. Like, it was the most fun summer, I think, of anyone in the golf world ever. And my parents said, you have 3 months of room and board, and then you're on your own. So they paid for my travel expenses, my caddy expenses, everything that summer. And then the moment I turned pro and got my first signing bonus from Callaway and KPMG, I paid them back for those travel expenses. So that was the message. And then the other message they gave me was my pro debut in Napa. I had a dinner with my full team in the clubhouse, and mom and dad were there. It was probably 8 or 9 of my team members, great dinner to kick off my professional career and get everyone together. And then, right after dessert came,
They
mom and
stuck
dad
you with the
stood up.
bill.
Yeah, mom and dad stood up and said, "All right, well, thanks for dinner, Mav. That was wonderful. We'll see you tomorrow." And I'm like, "Cool,
This is different.
I'm on my own. Here we go." So,
No.
yeah, mom and dad are amazing, wonderful people, support me so much. They're out watching almost every tournament. And I'm so fortunate to be able to have the opportunity to do what I do. But I love that about golf. The golf ball just doesn't care who you are. And more than that, I like to think that I don't act in that way. And I take a lot of pride in that. And I want to treat the people who take care of me really, really well.